Hi guys, today I'll be showing you how to make pande-siosa. We've got 3 egg yolks in here, and then I'm gonna add 1 egg, just like this. And then we got 1 packet of yeast, 150 grams of butter. This is 3 and 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons, but I added 3 tablespoons later. And then I've got half a cup of sugar plus 1 tablespoon, half a teaspoon of salt, and 2/3 cup of warm water. We begin by adding 1 tablespoon of sugar into the warm water. Always make sure to test the water that it is warm, or else if it's hot, the yeast will die. So just add in the yeast into the warm water and let it sit for about 5 minutes or until the bubble starts to come out on top of the water, just like this. And then we're gonna get about 1 cup of the flour, and then we're gonna add the salt, give it a mix, and then we're gonna add the warm yeast mixture. Give it a mix, and then we're gonna leave this into a warm spot covered with cling wrap for an hour or until it doubles in size. For me, I put it in the oven. So this, after an hour, the dough is now ready. It has doubled in size. We're ready to move on to the next step. I'm gonna be using my stand mixer, but if you don't have a stand mixer, you can use your hands to knead the dough. So we're gonna add the sugar, the egg yolks plus 1 egg, now I will slowly add the flour. I'm gonna begin by adding 2 cups first, and then start the kneading process. Once the flour is absorbed by the yeast dough, we can start adding the butter. At this point, the dough will be very sticky. By the way, the butter should be at room temperature. Now we can start adding the remaining flour. So this flour is 3 cups plus 1/4 and 2 tablespoons. Once mixing, you're gonna see that the dough is still sticky. So we're gonna add more flour until it is not sticky anymore. Okay, here I can see that my dough is still very sticky, but be careful adding flour, because once the flour is in, you can't take it out. So to be safe, just add 1 tablespoon at a time. So here is the flour now. This is the extra. After each addition of flour, check the bottom if it's not sticking anymore. That's the best guide I find. That's the second tablespoon. And you can see here that it's still sticky. So that's the third tablespoon. So the additional flour would sometimes really depend on the weather. So the best way to see is to look at the bottom of the bowl if the dough is not sticking there anymore and it's slowly picking up the sides of the bowl, just like this. And then knead it for about 5 to 7 minutes or until when the dough is smooth. Just like this. It is really smooth. I knead it for about 7 minutes. And then into your bowl, add a little bit of oil. And then form your dough into a ball and roll it into the oil. This will ensure that the dough will not stick at the bowl. And then cover it with cling wrap and let it rest for about 1 to 2 hours or until when it doubles in size. So after about 1.5 hours, the dough is ready. So just put this in your work surface. So at first, divide your dough into half. Set aside the other dough for later use. And then just form it into a ball. Then cut it in half. Then half again. And then half again. Make sure that you have 8 pieces. And just make sure that the dough is roughly the same size. And then to form the dough into circle, just pull the sides of the dough and tuck it under, just like this. And then using the palm of your hand, roll the dough into your work surface. This will make the dough smooth. And then I'm gonna be using 8 inches by 3 inches in diameter round cake pan, which I grease with butter just to make sure that the bread will come out once it's done baking. And then once you finish up with all your dough, just arrange it in your cake pan or any pan that you decided to form the dough, just like this. So 1 in the center and 7 on the sides. And then we will let this rest for about 45 minutes or until the dough doubled in size and it covers up all the spaces in the cake pan. Then bake this at a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius for about 20 to 30 minutes or until when you see the top is golden brown. But before baking, brush the top with egg wash. So this is what it looks like after baking. It is important to really make sure that the bread is cooked, because if it's undercooked, the bread will just collapse and it will fall apart. So let it cool down completely. Just like this before putting butter on top. So while the bread is cooling down, I have about 80 grams of room temperature butter here that I decided to whip up to incorporate air on it. You don't have to do this. But it makes the butter light. So once the bread has fully cooled down, you can start adding the butter. Make sure that it has completely cooled down, or else your butter will just melt. So you can use spatula or brush to do this process. So once you're happy with the butter, you can start adding sugar. So at first, I'm just sprinkling the sugar on the crevices of the bread. Sorry, you can't see it here, but I hope you get the idea. And then we will just dump it into the sugar. And this is our finished product. You can stop right here, or you can move on to adding cheese on top, just like this. Some people don't like cheese, some people do, so it's up to you. And then just to show you what it looks like inside. This is really delicious, soft, and you will not regret making this. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.